But nevertheless, we are going ahead. It is always a surprise ahead. Don't worry. There's no time to look back. Look forward only. This is the problem with the studies. There is really no time. And there's a massive future waiting all the time. So you have to always address it in a fresh and a new fashion. And it looks like that it is a repetition to the mind, maybe, but it is totally new to the whole perception of existence. So, of course, for the mind, all the words are repetition. Whatever word I said already I several times. So it's a repetition. But in what context it is used, even contexts are repetitions. But it is always in a fresh, virgin time, because the time is never staying in the same spot. We are moving ahead. We've never been to that space in which we are now. It's always fresh space. Our Earth is turning around itself, around the sun around the galaxy. A galaxy is expanding in the universe. So we never been in that virgin time and space. It's a fresh first time. This moment is the first time we are there. So even if we use the repetition of the same formula, it will be a new meaning, constantly new meaning. That's the idea. I was when I was in the linguistic department in St. Petersburg University, I was troubling my professors with this question. What is this, imperativeness of name? Whenever I pronounce the noun or the name, for example, I say some word like tree or Rama. Rama. This Rama is always fresh, every time. Even if I say it 5 or 6 times, Rama, Rama, Rama. Every Rama is a new Rama, because not only because of time physically, but also because of the context is changing constantly, is never the same. So before it was nothing, and I said Rama. Then it was Rama there, and I said second time Rama. Then there was 2 times Rama said. I said third time Rama. It's always a new context in which Rama is pronounced. The same word pronounced one after the other is a new word. And that is the imperativeness of the name. It is imperative. It brings consciousness into action. Each word acts. And that is the puzzling part of the word. It's always authentic, always true to its appearance, maybe not to the context. It changes the context. It may also modify the context in whatever way, but it is always true to itself. All right. So today we continue with this hymn, beautiful hymn. So we stopped here, number 3. So when the Agni, let me start with mantra. Om Vang me manasi pratishthitam mano me vachi pratishthitam aviravirma edhi vedasyama ani stha shrutam me ma prahasi anena dhitena horatran samdadhami ritam vadishyami satyam vadishyami tanmamavatu tadvaktaramavatu avatu mam avatu vaktaram avatu vaktaram. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So this hymn of the 5th mandala, which we took, number 1.
Vladimir,
Yes.
just a second. The mantra you chanted, I think you had spoken about the meaning of this mantra long back, but I think I have sort of forgotten. Is it like possible to say it again? Like,
Sure, sure. It is Shanti Patra for Rig Veda Samhita. So when I pronounce it, everybody who knows it knows that the text which we will be dealing with will be belonging to the Rig Veda. So Vak me, my speech, Manasi Pratishtita, Mano me Vachi Pratishtita. So my speech is established in my mind, and my mind is established in my speech. Be revealed to me, O speech, be open to me, O mind. You are both the foundation of the Veda of knowledge. And what was revealed to me, don't leave me. By that revealed, I combine the days and nights into one being. The days and nights I gather by that which was revealed. Yeah? I shall speak the truth of becoming. I shall speak the truth or express the truth of being. Tanmamavato, may that grow in me. May that grow in the one who expresses the truth. May that grow in me, grow in the speaker. Or protect me, protect the speaker. So this is the mantra. You can see that there is no religion here. It's totally psychological. So I express the deeper consciousness of the truth of being and becoming. I appeal to the mind and the word. The word is established in my mind and my mind in the word. And these are the two foundation stones of the Veda, of knowledge. And everything which was revealed to me should stay with me. And by that I should gather, put together the days and nights, and I shall express the truth of becoming and the truth of being constantly, and that should grow in me, should grow in the speaker, should grow in me, should grow in the speaker. This is the mantra.
thank you.
So here we are in the number 3, we stopped here. Yad imganasya rashanama jiga shuchiran kte shuchibhirgobir agni. And when he extends his cord, his long cord of his hosts, of all his powers, which are as if like Kundalini Shakti. So when Kundalini Shakti rises, she extends her cord. She is rising, yes. She reveals all her energies within, coiled within. Yeah? So strength shines pure by the pure herd of the radiances. She is shining, or he, the Agni in this case, or the rope he extends, is shining with the pure herd, with the pure rays of light of the dawn, of the radiances which dawn is arriving with. So for the goddess who discerns, grows in plenitude and is yoked to her works, because the goddess who discerns, who has this consciousness of discernment, grows in plenitude, in the bulk, in the substance, and is yoked to her works, to the activities with Agni. He exalted, she extended supine. He feeds on her with his flames of the offering. This is the relation between the dawn and the flame rising from the depth of the heart. So our flame, our aspiration is rising, calling, and the dawn is answering, and they are both mixing up. This was the last verse. Anuradhe, namaste.
क्षम्यतां मम वर्गः समाप्तः इदानीमेव क्षम्यतां. Sorry.
No problem. Anuradha sarvada Sanskrita bhashayam vadati. So always speaks in Sanskrit. So at least with me, because this is the habit from the past. So.
Not just because it's a habit, because I enjoy doing so.
Oh, I know you're so good at it. She's the best
No.
speaker. I never heard anybody who speaks better. It's clarity, fluency, and there is a mind of Sri Aurobindo there also.
Never, not because of that. I'll just share with everybody since we got talking about spoken Sanskrit. It's just that I had when in fact Vladimir and I we spent a whole month of immersion in Sanskrit, and then we went to another camp where we had to speak in English. And after that 1 month of complete immersion, when I switched to English, it was as if the language was coming out from the tip of the tongue. In terms of the impact of the sound on the body, Attaha, I don't lose, if possible, not lose or spontaneously it happens with Vladimir to speak in Sanskritam. That's another thing. But us first. I
Yeah,
don't want to interrupt Mama.
very nice. It's important for others to hear that it is possible, that it is living, that it is part of the consciousness. It can be part of our inner being. So when Agni has awakened a long succession of his hosts, having become pure, shines with his pure rays, then the discerning power of the dawn becomes yoked to his work, bestowing the plenitude upon him. It is on her who is now spread vast. He feeds standing high. If she is vast, then he is standing high, with his flames supported by the offerings. It is a description of the next stage of their relationship, where Agni has fully awakened and uncoiled his powers and hosts, has become fully pure, shining with pure radiances of the dawn. Then she discerns and grows in plenitude and is yoked to her and now to his works also. There is no more distinction between the workings, for there is no difference anymore. She grows wide all over, and he stands high and feeds on her with his flames of offering. This picture explains the mentioning of the dawn approaching Agni to feed as cow the calf in the first verse. This is interesting because it actually corresponds to the vision of Sri Aurobindo of the calling and the answer. Yes? There are two powers. Yeah? That is the aspiration from within the heart, the flame within the heart, and the grace from above that answers to the call. And when this grace is the Divine Mother coming down to her child, calling to her calf, as the cow comes to feed, and he feeds on her light, and he grows, he becomes standing, he is growing upward, and she is expanding wider and giving him more and more space to grow. There are some passages in Savitri which are corresponding to this vision of relation between Agni and the dawn. Its shape of person and its ego face, divested of this mortal travesty, like a clay troll kneaded into a god. New made in the image of the eternal guest, it shall be caught to the breast of a white force, caught into the breast of a white force, and flaming with a paradisial touch, in a rose fire of sweet spiritual grace, in the red passion of its infinite change, quiver, awake, and shudder with ecstasy. This is the relation of fire and the dawn. As if reversing a deformation spell released from the black magic of the night. Tamasoni Ramoshe, previous verse. Renouncing servitude to the dim abyss. It shall learn at last who lived within unseen and seized with marvel in the adoring heart to the enthroned child Godhead kneel, aware, trembling with beauty and delight and love. But first, the Spirit's ascent we must achieve. First we must rise, we must call out of the chasm from which our nature rose. The soul must soar sovereign above the form and climb to summits beyond mind's half sleep. Our hearts we must inform with heavenly strength. Surprise the animal with the occult God. I'm thinking about this in the morning, that we are captured into this animal body. The body is still animal, but the consciousness is already going beyond it. Consciousness is seeking a higher manifestation, which this body cannot provide. And this is the whole struggle between our body and the instincts of the nature, which are coming from animal, and the consciousness, which is going far beyond the capacities of the body. Wants another body, wants a greater body, wants a greater capacity, and it doesn't have it, falls back all the time back, and all the time thriving forward, aspiring forward, calling for better capacity, and slowly nature builds and rebuilds this body. And this is the evolution of consciousness and body. Yes, Anuradha.
No, I just had an interesting thought also. What you just said, no. So the fact is that the animal body is coming from bottom up. It's part of the evolutionary thing, because as the brain got developed, literally it's with a brain thing, because it's matter. It cannot do random things. It had to literally connect and make these neural pathways, make them more and more. So when the mind is trying to work through the brain, it's a struggle of the mind translating itself through the limitations of the brain formations also, because the brain has its already encrusted genetic inheritances
Yeah.
based on its own experiences and whatever. But it's really this bridge between, like I said, the mind stuff, the consciousness stuff, trying to sculpt the brain into divinity, literally. So it's
Yeah.
literally the mind, or this consciousness trying to sculpt the animal brain into divinity,
Yeah.
which is the surprise the animal with the occult god.
Yeah. This is so beautiful. Surprise the animal, with the occult God. The hidden God is there. An animal didn't even expect that there is something higher there, waiting, growing. Yeah? Yes,
And
Prito.
is it not true for our entire body in that sense? Like what Anuradha said, that the brain, the mind tries to change the brain. So it's possibly true for the entire body. Like there is this physical uh, memory of the body, and then there is this something deep
Well,
within.
yeah, I didn't separate body of parts into parts and saying that some parts are more and others are less. I think it's a holistic development. Yeah, we are a holistic being in a way. On each of the stages, we are representing our species, as it were. For example, animals represent their species, and they were frozen to some extent to that formation, exhausted all the possibilities in that formation. And then there's something in them which is pushing forward. They need another body. So there's another type of species comes into being, another and another. So in the need of the spirit, we evolved from the monocellular organism to this very complex being with brain, with seeing, with eyes, with ears. Ears are so complex. All that mechanism, how we hear sounds, how we distinguish voices, how everything complexly works. Just incredible to think how it all evolved in the need of the spirit, yeah, for that need which is growing within and is still pushing forward and saying this is not the end. And that's what Aurobindo always says, that the man is a transitional being, transitional. We are constantly transiting to some otherness, some higher self calling to us from within and from without.
It's very
So,
interesting
I
to
think,
mm,
sorry, I
yeah,
was
go
just
on.
saying that I was speaking particularly of the brain because that's like the control center of the rest of the body. So if one has to see where it is working itself out through, it's really the brain that controls the physical materiality of our self.
It's a knowledge of today, but the
Okay.
brain also, again, there are other theories which are coming now that the brain is only a part of the system. Yeah, we have the whole cortex, we have all the nerves, blood, everything. Everything works as one vital body, where brain plays a special central role, or not central, maybe like coordinating role somewhere of certain qualities, faculties, and so on. Yeah. Yes, Charles.
So it's well known in neuroscience that the heart controls the brain.
You see,
Really?
this is again, it's a development of the latest development, but I will be sure that there will be more discovery that actually everything works together. And this is something amazing, because people who lost, for example, their limbs in the war, it's interesting, they still feel those limbs, because in the vital body they are still there, and they want sometimes to move them, and there is no limb. One can say that in the brain there is a memory or something, but it is not only the brain, because there is the vital body which is standing behind the physical body, which gives it vitality. The moment this vital body goes away, this brain becomes a matter, dead matter. Yeah. So the brain is needed for functionality, like fingers are physical, also needed for functionality. But who moves the fingers? Who grabs the thing? Yeah? There's someone there, the vital force, and behind vital there is a mental force, and behind mental there is a supramental consciousness, and behind that there is a soul somewhere, the conscious being, Purusha, which makes all this meaningful movements. So in a way, yes. The heart is the newest discovery. By the way, I read the article, very interesting, that they discovered that the beats of heart are everywhere, not only in the human beings and animals, but even in plants, in trees. They have something like heartbeats, but it is so rare. It's like once in 1 day or some in 2 days. That's why they were not registered before. But now with the development of, they registered that there is some boom, boom, some push, which is taking place in the tree, and then silence, and then boom, boom again. And they started to consider this to be heartbeats somewhere in the trees.
There's a very interesting video recently I saw. It was they have made some sort of instrument and they can hear music of different plants and different flowers. They have to sort of like keep that instrument and then you have to plug in. And it was like each plant had a different music. and it was so amazing. I was completely taken aback. It was like so amazing.
Yeah.
I think I shared some links regarding this a few months ago. I don't know. Pritu, even you must have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
I remember
I
that
saw.
very well. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, possibly it's another one which I also saw now.
Yeah.
They
So
put
yeah,
special this, and then they try. It's actually interpretation of music in a specific setting, but still that difference between different plants sounding different kind of harmonies. It's quite interesting.
Yeah, it's the
Planets
frequency that
also.
they get.
Yeah.
It's the frequency that they capture.
No, and it's also very close. If you listen to Sunil Das music, so there's a lot of similarity with the Sunil Das music, the mother's organ music at times. It sounds very similar to that
Yeah.
natural
I didn't
frequency.
find it. Yes, but interesting that you found it similar. Yeah, this kind of. So there is life, consciousness everywhere. And of course, that consciousness pushes plants to move, and they start moving. There are plants who are actually catching the flies and so on, eat other animals, plants, sucks them in and then digest them within. It's incredible. So the life is not so one as we think about it. We know not much about it, or not everything, let us say like this. So then, surprise the animal with the occult god, then kindling the gold tongue of sacrifice. Then we can kindle this golden tongue of the sacrifice. We can become conscious of what is happening to us, that we are here transitional beings, that everything which happens to us makes sense, that we are here to increase the growth of consciousness. We become aware of it. We are not here living just mechanically, grabbing and surviving and so on. We are here more than that. We kindle the gold tongue of sacrifice. Calling the powers of a bright hemisphere, we invoke the higher capacities of consciousness. We shall shed the discredit of our mortal state, make the abysm a road for heaven's descent, acquaint our depths with the supernal ray, and cleave the darkness with the mystic fire. So our course is called the Hymns to the Mystic Fire. It's very appropriate here. You can see how Sri Aurobindo is using imagery, Vedic imagery, in his. It's totally Vedic. Yeah, just you can see all the. I'm giving here the references from this hymn, but you can find these references in many hymns. He took that imagery and he put it into the poetic language of his own. How to describe this event or this action of consciousness other than in these visions or terms, symbols. We can't speak about this only in these symbols of the Rig Veda. The tongue of the sacrifice, the dawn, the supernal ray. How else would we speak about these issues? There is no other language available to us. The language of the nature, which is nothing but the symbolic representative of that spiritual evolution. So his soul breaks out to join the oversoul. His life is oceaned by the super life, by that super life, oceaned. This is actually again Vedic imagery. Varuna and Mitra, they are oceaning. They are coming like the ocean, like the sea onto you. He has drunk from the breasts of the mother of the worlds. Uttana murdho adhayat, from this verse. A topless supernature fills his frame. Pratidhenumi vayati mushasam. She also fills him with her frame. The topless supernature fills his frame. She adopts his spirit's everlasting ground. She finally adopts his spirit everlasting ground, as the security of her changing world and shapes the figure of her unborn mites. Immortality she conceives herself in him. Immortally she conceives herself in him, in the creature. The unveiled creatrix works. Her face is seen through his face, her eyes through his eyes. Ad dakshina yujyate. Her being is his through a vast identity. Then is revealed in man the overt divine. Then finally, when the invocation, the aspiration and answer become one, and then only there will be a revelation of the divine in this manifestation. By the way, the same Vedic idea, the fire invokes, the Indra answers from above. So Indra and Agni, Indragni, they have to come together. They join the powers of the heaven and earth. And then a new world is born and the divine is revealed. The whole idea of the sacrifice, to join heaven and earth and to make them equal and one. So here we see all this imagery in Sri Aurobindo's language, in Savage. Okay, we move forward. Agnim acha devayatam manansi chakshun shiva suriye samcharanti ad yad im suvate ushasa virupe shveto vaji jayate agre ahanam. The minds of men who grow in the Godhead move entirely towards the flame of will, even as all their seeings converge in the sun that illumines. When two dawns, that means the dawn and the night, of opposite forms are delivered of him, he is born as the white steed in front of the days. The white steed in front of the days. This is the imagery. This is the literal symbols of the Veda. Of course, it's a total poetry. It's not something, not the steed, the horse is born in front of some days.
But is it? I'm just wondering. Is it also reflecting the sun? There is the image of the sun. No? Aditya has the 7 horses. They're the white steeds of the Lord of the Sun. I mean, very the Puranic image of the sun as it rides the sky has these white steeds. And in terms of the imagery, it is also the rays of the sun that with this force and all that they're going through, but also the fun fact that the sun is the representation of the truth, and so it's symbolic of the truth. And then you have these rays, the goats, the cows that are there. No? So this truth, the rays of illumination that that lead, or rather that precede it before you can go there. So those something, I don't know if that is a connection there.
Yeah. Look at this. Agnim acha devayatam manansi. The minds of those who are seeking the divine manifestation, devayatam. Yeah. Shashti Bahuvachanam. Of those who are seeking the divinity, who are divinizing themselves, who evoke to this process of the sacrifice, their minds come together directly to Agni, to the divine will. They are centered around this flame within. So all our minds of us embodied beings, those who are seeking the divine manifestation, are centered around the divine will within us, within the divine, around the divine call, around the psychic being. As Chakshun Shiva, as the visions or the higher visions, Surya Sancharanti, come together in Surya, as all the rays or the visions are gathered in the supreme, supernal truth. Yeah? So the same, our wills, our manansi, come together around the will within us. So here there is Agni and Surya. On one side there is the one who calls, the other who answers with knowledge. And here I've compared again. They are the quintessence on one side of the earth, of the embodied state, and the other quintessence of heaven, Surya. And they have to come together in the sacrifice. And in between these two dynamic powers of the mother, Ushasa, two dual, this is Vedic dual, Ushasa, Suvate, they are the two dawns, opposite in form, they produce Yad Im Suvate. So look at me. When the night and dawn, the two mothers finally deliver him, bring him to birth. Yat, whom, or when, indeed, the two dawns, or the night and dawn, deliver him, virupe, of different form, but with one mind, as we will read later. Shveto yaji, vaji, and the white Vaji. Vajin is the one who has the force of plenitude, or the steed, the white steed Jayate is born, Agreyanam, in front of the days. In front of the days may mean in front of this constant rotation of days and nights. Yeah. In front of this movement forward of the time, towards higher and higher consciousness, he is leader forward. He is born to lead the whole being towards the higher consciousness. It's really so profound, so beautiful. So, it is the divine will, Agni, that the thoughts, intentions of those who aspire to divinize their nature completely fixed upon, as all their seeings and visions are fixed on the sun as the origin of light. It is known that the sun is the eye of the gods. The sun is the portal through which we enter into the beyond also. When the night and dawn, the two mothers finally deliver him, he is born as the white steed in front of the days. As the sight is fixed on the sun, the origin of light, the mind is fixed on the fire as the origin of will, to be of all those who aspire for the divine. The will to be, as the origin of will to be of all those who aspire for the divine. The will to be, remember this Nietzsche and Schopenhauer? The will to be is something which is pushing us always forward, that energy within. The growth of the inner flame is symbolically rendered here as the hidden growth and delivery by the two mothers of night and dawn. These two sisters fed him in the evolutionary process. The dawn was bringing him a new light every day, and the night was assimilating it into his being, into the lower, inconscient being. And when he was ready to start the life of his own, to be born, as it were, as fully formed being, they delivered him, and he became the white steed in front of the days. The nights would be not necessary anymore. The nights would not be necessary anymore, and the evolution will continue from light to greater light. Now, once he is born, he is moving forward. The last statement I don't like, actually. I thought before about it, but it is long ago that I typed this. So I would remove it from here. It is appropriate for another passage, but not for this. He's still born, he's still fed by night and dawn. So, what are these night and dawn? What do you think? Two mothers of Agni, they're feeding him constantly. Anuradha, what do you think?
I think that we all have moments of clarity and moments of forgetting. But if one is a seeker of the, like they've said, if one is trying to awaken the divinity within, then both can feed. One during the conscious phase, that one can consciously strive and Agni is visible and everything. But then there is invariably the slumber. And during that slumber, we are assimilating, like you said. But sometimes that slumber can edge on forgetfulness.
Yeah.
But for the one who is conscious, for the one whom the flame has been kindled, the Agni has been lit, for such a person, even the night becomes the assimilation rather than a forgetting.
Yeah.
And so both nourish
Very nice.
the one who wants to illumine the divinity.
You can hear immediately Sri Aurobindo's mind here. See, this is the what I'm mentioning about you. That this is the student of Sri Aurobindo Ashram school. That's the difference. Immediately, this thinking, holistic thinking. Yes, assimilation of the light into the darkness, where we forget about ourselves. But once you awaken, you don't forget. It becomes a conscious assimilation. You work with night differently. You're not losing yourself anymore. You're not losing that consciousness. You still
So
remember.
night,
Yeah.
so nights are those moments of, pain or suffering, possibly, I don't know, like something which gets us close to light.
Pain and suffering. Yeah. Pain is reminding us that there is a night. Night is that unconsciousness which is actually which is in need of the light. Yeah, it is that what for we came to this manifestation. We came, as Sri Aurobindo says, night is not our beginning and not our end. Yeah, we came to her from the supernal light. By light we live, and into light we go. But we are crossing the night. Yeah? We are beings of light crossing through the night. And that is our major sacrifice. We bring more and more achievements in this night. The light which we achieved, became conscious of, we bring into the night more and more and illumine her, yeah, with our participation. Yes, it's very beautiful. So if we look at the process of our evolution, we will see that we are rising to the top, we gain something, we achieved, and then we fall into the darkness. It is a constant repetition to the extent that sometimes I don't like it anymore, going down. So why not going only in one direction? But we are going in this like a spiral movement. Yeah, we must go through the night phase, because in that phase we sleep every day. Can you imagine? Every day we sleep. What to say more? So we fall into some kind of oblivion, because that what we achieved has to be assimilated in the depth of our unconscious being. So that is our contribution. Every time we live the day, and the night we fall down, and the day, and so it can be also day and night in the psychological sense. Yes, sometimes we are up, and sometimes we are down in the depression and darkness, and that is also a phase needed in a way, but we can do it consciously, without losing ourselves. We don't need to lose ourselves.
The thing is that the night is inevitable because we are working in the night. As the light grows in the night, so the night is inevitable. The night is like the standby mode.
Yeah.
I mean, it's this. What do you say? It's the
Standby is a good word.
what is that word? what do you call it? It's the
Airplane
standby default mode. The night is the default mode, and we when we manage to get that spurt, then there is some light. But then if you're not able to sustain it, then poof, again back into the
I
So
would,
night is actually,
yeah,
yeah, I was saying night is actually the main check of sadhana, that how much sadhana we've done. We'll know by the quality of nights we have, isn't it?
absolutely, very nice. Sri Aurobindo
the
speaks that in,
mother.
huh?
I think even the mother says that if one could make the nights more conscious, I mean, that would have been literally that this image of the night feeding Agni. The willpower, the sadhana is so intense that even at night, I mean, the phase of the natural unconscious or the slumber mode is also has been made into an opportunity to awaken. It's like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, you were saying something about Sri Aurobindo.
Yes, Sri Aurobindo says that in the Veda there are also two nights. Yes, he speaks about two nights. One is that unconscious, deep, subconscious and inconscient night where no light is possible, yeah, where even the soul is crossed from the list of existent ones. Your soul is losing its own self-identity, such a density of night. And that is a terrible night. Yeah? And there is a starry night, which is closer to us. So that starry night with moon and stars, and it is that night, pleasant night, in which we rest, into which we bring all our achievements, all our illuminations, yeah? And we make it more and more starry, more and more luminous. And slowly, in that way, we influence the deeper and deeper layers of that subconscious night.
The first night you said, Vladimir, so it's that is also inevitable. And then when we do more yoga, then we reach closer to the starry night, is it?
Starry night is already given to us. It's a default, as you say. We already achieved, as a humanity, some kind of not total forgetfulness. We don't fall into total oblivion every time when we sleep. No, we dream. There's some kind of light there. We remember something. It's not that we forget absolutely. Some people are lucky to forget themselves totally. They wake up every time as if, whoa, where am I? Who am I? But lucky because they can rest. I can't forget myself in the night. I remember everything. I sleep very light. I can hear myself breathing, my heartbeat. So I put my earplugs to sleep because I can't sleep.
I thought I'm the light sleeper. I can hear other people's heartbeat and breath, but not mine. Like this is another level.
It's a deeper level of sensitivity. Right. So for me to sleep is quite difficult. Yeah.
So which one is good news? Because when I sleep, I can just say everything is over. I mean, like gone. Nothing.
I
The world
envy.
the world might not exist. Or possibly I'm really going into the niches where there's such a forgetfulness that everything, like I get completely lost.
But
I'm wondering which is the more desirable one. I don't know.
You wake up restful or you wake up still heavy?
So I think right now, because the timings are not good, so I don't get that full sleep that I should. But I can manage with less sleep when I have that kind of a sleep.
If you're heavy, that means you went into going into the inconscient. No fun. Mother says you will be, your energies will be robbed. It's quite tough. Yeah, but we need to go to, when we fall asleep, we go to the center of where we regenerate our energies. And she says, if you reach that center, you can sleep only 15 minutes would be enough for you to sleep a day, because you regenerate all the powers. Yeah? But we hardly reach that level, that depth of light, because we, truly speaking, we go somewhere where we are not aware. So it's a topic in itself.
Even,
Uh,
strangely, I do all my creative work and all my writing only in the night. I can't write in the day.
Uh,
I don't know, I
okay,
mean,
interesting. You are like Sri Aurobindo.
yeah, it's
He was
true.
not sleeping till 6 in the morning every night.
me too. When I'm writing, I'm awake full night and I'm so focused, so fresh, and it all just comes to me at that time.
Mm. He says the same, that it is peaceful and there is this peace descending. So he was using the night, you see, in the most creative way. And he was falling asleep 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
But there is something like for me also in the afternoons, I feel very lethargic. I don't know, it's very weird, but I feel really lethargic around 11ish to like 2, 3 or something of that sort. And then eventually when sun starts getting down, I start becoming more active and like in terms of creativity, in terms of like doing things. And I don't know, I feel a very delightful energy. And then obviously at 10:30, 11 again, I'd like to sleep. But yeah, usually it just happens like this.
Me too. I'm a baby after lunch. I must have some siesta time. Mm.
I was just wondering, Vladimir, about that absolute night. Is it like an absolute darkness, or is it just that it's so dense that the light cannot shine through? Because
It
I
is,
thought
it
about
is
this,
the same
but
thing. Yes, it is the same thing what you say. It is so dense that light cannot break through. There is no awareness. It's so narrowing down that you have no space for any shining, any conscious activity for yourself or for others. And
would one say
Shubhendu,
it's that plunge? It's the plunge of the involution into the darkness, like really. It's
yeah,
like the last depth in which involution happens. And is that what it is also?
yeah, it is that in the Rig Veda it is described as an infinite rock. The density is so deep that it becomes like a rock. You can't break through. You can't. There is no space at all. And Shubhendu was digging into that. He came down to the very bottom of inconscient. And with his light, like a drilling device, he was drilling into that rock, crushing it, crushing, until he broke through and there was a beam of light. There was a total breaking through the light. And this is what he calls the secret of the Veda, that in the densest night, there is a hidden light, the supreme light, which we think that light is there and the darkness below, the light above, darkness below, but it's not so. The light is also below, in the deepest darkness, beyond. And that's what Vedic rishis knew.
But
Yeah.
I was just saying that isn't below the inconscient more trapping and more difficult? Like I mean, for humans like me, I mean, we are getting stuck at times, and there are like dreams. I don't know if those dreams are really. I don't know. Like when I'm not conscious and I sleep, I get weird dreams at times, very perplexing dreams. And when I get up, it's very strong. Like I feel it through my emotions and I don't know where do I go, what happens, but these are like really weird dreams.
Yeah, you have to be aware of this and conscious if these are the lower places where robbing you of energy, you should be aware of it. Yeah, you have to learn not to fall into that, not to become a prey for those forces. Sometimes we do this and we are robbed and we are very exhausted. I wake up and I'm totally robbed and I'm so one has to become conscious in the night. Yeah. So here is the passage from, of course, maybe we can take it next time, this beautiful passage, but one small passage. There is a description of the vision of Ashwapati from above on the lower hemisphere and the ascent of Agni. His heights of being lived in the still self. His mind could rest on a supernal ground. He is already from there, looking from above. and look down on the magic and the play where the God-child lies on the lap of night and dawn, and the everlasting puts on time's disguise. So this is our God-child. This is the one who is fed by two mothers, the night and dawn, who sits on the lap of the two mothers, the baby, the flame. You see how Sri Aurobindo is using Vedic imagery beautifully. Those who do not know the Veda, they read this, for them it is some kind of poetry. They do not see, but when we have two languages, Rig Veda and Savitri, it's very helpful for both, to understand Savitri and to understand the Rig Veda. Then there becomes some real progress in understanding. I did several courses in the Gnostic Center. After that, they said, we understand Savitri finally, what we read, because we need to have the Vedic vision. It helps. All right, I will stop here. We will continue next time with this passage here and jump into the next. And each verse is like this, dense with meaning. It's a vision in itself. Each verse is an entry to some higher meaning.
This imagery of Agni as the child of two mothers, it's so vivid, like it's just very strong.
Very powerful, yes. Once we are tuned into the right symbolism, into the right visions, the knowledge comes to us. We start kind of discerning things. We start understanding them better. We didn't have this vision or this knowledge or these symbols. Now we have these symbols, and somehow there is a tuning. It's something like what is that knowledge which is known, by which everything is known? The knowledge knowing which everything is known. It is exactly this knowledge of the Veda. And the knowledge of the archetypes. Once we tune ourselves to it, we can discover anything in a true light.
It seems to open the subtle senses, no? Like especially Sri Aurobindo's insights into the symbolism offer some kind of these lights, guiding lights, no?
Yeah. This right. We need not only the vision of Sri Aurobindo and the Rig Veda rishis, but we need also the word, which would help us to open these visions. Yeah? So to say, we need to train our surface mind to be able to tune to that inner true reality. So these words, these images are helping us to tune ourselves, our surface consciousness, and then to tap into the inner realities. And they become kind of vivid and real to us. Okay, I am closing now with mantra. There is this reference here. Night opened and vanished like a gulf of dream, into being's gap scooped out as empty space in which she had filled the place of absent God. There poured a wide, intimate, and blissful dawn. Such a beautiful image. Yeah. Who sent it? It is...
Yeah, I sent it.
You just... Oh, lovely. Thank you. This is from Savitri again.
Yeah. So I just didn't think it was necessary to write that it's from Savitri.
Definitely. We're all kind of referring to Savitri non-stop. Beautiful. Thank you. Okay, this is a good place to stop. I'm closing with mantra. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santo Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhavet Om Shanti